Welcome to another live stream, Legends. Well, guys, what a beautiful sight for sore eyes. After basically half a year without setting any new all-time highs, the bulls have finally done it. Most of my concerns are right out the window for now, so I can finally shut the heck up about the macro Stuber fib. We finally invalidated the 115 fib. So what's next for Bitcoin? And honestly, possibly even more exciting, actually, guys, is what's next for altcoins. Is alt season actually going to be a thing? First things first, I want to take a look at Bitcoin on the weekly chart. So guys, there is one very, very minor concern still. This is not me being bearish, but you guys wanted bear porn. I am here for it. Let's try and find one here. My only thing yet is the RSI still could get that nasty divergence at that 70 level once again. If, however, the RSI goes back above 70 and it's back in that overbought territory while we're uptrending, then guys, to me, that just looks like there's a shit ton of strength in the markets, right? Relative strength index. So if we're above 70, as we're trending higher, I mean, that is a lot of strength in the markets, but it's more so that if we just end up printing this nasty divergence down to the 70 level, it would actually be a little bit cleaner if it happened now versus where we got it last time here. But it just could be a nasty reversal signal, but at least the double top territory's gone. The swing fail territory has been broken. I am expecting us to climb higher at this point just because my structure levels have been broken finally. But again, it's just always good to look ahead and look for anything that might end up blindsiding you in the future. And that's kind of the only thing I can think of for now. But like I said, we broke the 115. The RSI is still climbing, so it hasn't quite got rejected or anything there yet. So we're going to have to see how it reacts. But hopefully we get that RSI climbing back above 70 and the price continues climbing. And hopefully everybody's happy from there, you guys. Yeah, looking great so far. Hopping over to the 4 hour. Again, guys, looking at a Stuber fib here, that 115. It was literally, guys, the minute that we ended up breaking that 115 level is where the market went absolutely vertical, right? So now, I mean, at this point, yeah, it's very possible that we see some sort of a pullback. Unfortunately, what I really would have loved to see here was setting another slightly higher high here, because then we would have a beautiful Stuber fib to go off of with that structure. But at this point, since we never set another higher high at this point, it's still possible that we just, we have this imbalance here. It's very possible that we just end up dumping to the downside and coming back down towards our support levels. The good news about that is we should have support if we come back down to these levels, right? Before, these levels were resistance, whereas now I'm hoping that it's more so support. So a couple of things to look at right here is one, and guys, this is the 1 minute, so it's very small structure here, but just looking at that order block there, we have a little bit of support there at least, because that's where we kind of struggled before blasting off higher. And another thing from there is, let's just look at the actual structure. This was our last high, right? This was our high. This is our higher high. There is no structure in between that, which means our lowest point between the two is our confirmed higher low. So at this point here, basically we have something like this. And notice that that purple box that I just outlined is near the 886 of this fib pull here as well. So at this point, you guys, I don't even know if we're going to come down to these levels, but if we do, I'm just going to be adding more long positions, basically. I do have one long position running from this morning at $110,956.40. Still have about a quarter of that position running at this point. But I would love to add new positions. And also, you guys, like I was talking about, altcoins. I did end up taking a bit of an Ethereum long. How is it going? We've hit my first target, haven't hit my second yet, but we'll see if that ends up happening. But that's basically the structure I was just talking about with Bitcoin, right? It's still, it's just the 1 minute, but we at least have this little bit of structure here, right? Our high, higher low. That's why I have this fib pull here, long and just front running the 786 a little bit. First target, and hopefully hit my second target eventually here, but we'll have to see what happens with the rest of that. But yeah, guys, like I said, not looking too bad right about now. Like I said, my main concern was that 115, and now that it's broke, at least we have that invalidation of the macro level that I've been watching for such a long time. And honestly, you guys, if we get the same sort of structure again, I'm going to treat it the exact same, right? I'm going to be a more of a seller when it comes to the leverage trading side of things. When we get to some sort of a resistance after losing structure, I will be looking at things the same, because a lot of people won't be willing to. And when the market actually does make that reversal, not a lot of people are going to be ready for it. Whereas if that structure is there, I'm at least going to be willing to trade it that way again until invalidated, basically. But the thing is, you guys know I'm usually trading the 1 minute or the 5 minute anyways. So those macro levels I'm watching for, I'm more so like the way I've been playing it recently. Even yesterday, I ended up getting in three short positions yesterday, when we ended up getting this swing fail here of our previous high. Can we even see it on this chart? I think I have to zoom right. Oh, Steam isn't working. Jeebus. Sorry, guys. I just saw your messages. Give me 1 sec here. Yeah, we are back. Sorry about that. I guess Discord's having a bit of an issue. I don't know how much of that you guys heard or saw, but we'll just get right back into it. Basically, yesterday, as I was just saying, I ended up in a couple of, actually 3 swing fail shorts. You guys, where was that? That would have been down at this level here. So this red line, actually on the 4 hour, it is slightly lower than that. And basically there was a little bit of a swing fail there. And when I really zoomed in, I did take a stab at it. It was basically just tested. Like we went not even $100 higher, and then we ended up dropping it. So I did take some shorts. The thing is, I always like to pay myself as we go, because, you know, if basically the way I see it is, it was a swing at a possible very large reversal with a scalp sized amount of risk, basically. And, you know, hit 2 of my targets on the way down, and the remaining half of my position, or actually I think I had 40% left of the 3 positions still left open. That ended up getting stopped at break even this morning, but my hedge long at that point took over, and I still have about a quarter of that position. We ended up getting another Stuber fib up here, and on top of that, you guys, with this little trend that pushed us through the 115. So we did have this little Stuber fib. I did point it out in the Bitcoin chat, actually. But with the trend master, we were also still printing higher buy signals, right? We got this beautiful higher sell followed by a higher buy signal here. And on top of that, getting a Stuber fib retest there and another higher buy signal here. You know, that indicator was showing a very nice trend. And just like right now, yeah, we have another higher buy. At this point, it's weird that we are firing 2 sell signals so close together. It is technically a little bit higher. So if we print another buy, it's going to look like another bullish confirmation to me at that point. But like I said, it is possible that we end up just basically revisiting support, right? Just getting a little bit of a flip here. Basically, if we lose my yellow line here at about 115.5, if we lose that, then it's very possible that we're just going to retrace this whole move, right? A little bit of an imbalance. Nothing was really tested in this area here. So it's very possible that, you know, when we go straight up like that, it's very possible we go straight down to, you know, retest support kind of a thing. So that's where at this point, being we had this range down here and pulling this fib, like I was talking about with this structure, this was our high. Our higher high is the current high. I mean, no structure in between that. We can now pull another fib, right? From the same bullish level, right? This was just looking at a smaller fib, but on the bigger side of things, we have the same structure, just a much bigger range now, right? Something like that. So that's why I have this purple box down here starting at about 114,000 down to 113.5 thousand. And then double bottom territory would be somewhere around 113, and really the swing fail all the way down to the 115 there would be around 112. So, Obviously, yeah, that's a very big range, and that's just on the 1 minute, you guys. That's a huge range for the 1 minute, but that's how structure formed. And yeah, when you have that big of a range that gets pulled like that, when we break out so big like that, yeah, that's a very large range. If you're trying to ladder into some entries, you might want to wait for additional confluence or lower your leverage a little bit or something like that. But so far, I mean, that's the kind of pullback that I'm looking for at this point to get into some additional longs. I would love to see us start forming some support down in this big old Stuber fib we've got on the 1 minute here. Eugenia is also having a hard time seeing my charts, I believe. Discord is having a hell of a time here. Try rejoining. I think it's worked for a few people. If it still doesn't work, I can switch over to the other chat and go from there. Sorry guys, it's nobody doing anything wrong. It's just Discord has been a mess, and it's got so many issues lately. Probably all the Moon Boys logging in and talking about 200k price targets. Yeah, who knows, right? Okay, so there is a few people now who aren't able to see it. Okay, one sec, guys. I'm just going to pause the stream again. All right, guys, we are back. Hopefully now everybody can see the charts in the chat. Hopefully we've solved it by switching channels here. But yeah, basically, as I was saying, once again, this is kind of the structure I'm looking at right now as far as looking for longing a pullback on Bitcoin right now, is just that, yeah, like I said, on the 1 minute, we have this high or higher high, massive shot to the upside. So that's giving us this very large range, even on the 1 minute chart here. So very volatile. In a case like this, it's never a bad idea to lower leverage a little bit because it's more volatile than you might be used to. So definitely double check, how big your potential losses are going to be if you're going to be entering positions and stuff like that. That's always obviously the most important part, is protecting your capital. So yeah. But yeah, other than that, guys, something like I said at the beginning of the stream, and like I've been saying for, well, I think a couple months now already, is that although, yeah, you know what, I was cautiously bearish with Bitcoin while we're at resistance, but I was very vocally bullish on altcoins and microcap memers and stuff like that. Because there's a few things that I was looking at, and one was, especially more recently, was this diagonal trend line. I think the last 3 streams or so I've been talking about this. Ever since we got our third exact touch point like that, I was looking at turning this line from support into resistance if we were going to break it, and that would be a very nice sign for the market. And especially that, here, we ended up just losing this support level. So from a horizontal level, we lost some structure on Bitcoin dominance. Diagonally, we have that does check it does check out for my criteria of trend lines that I need exactly 3 exact touch points before breaking out and getting that retest. I know not everybody likes trend lines, specifically diagonal ones, and I totally get it, but when they have at least 3 touch points, I take them a little bit more serious. And the fact that it got this perfect SR flip was a beautiful sign. And I think I saw Viking post something about it earlier today about how, last time we got this kind of a divergence with the Bitcoin dominance and the price is, the market made a very nice move. I think it's when last cycle when Bitcoin went from basically 40,000 to 69,000, I'm pretty sure, and altcoins went nuts with it. And basically, so what we see is Bitcoin's price is still actually climbing today, even though the Bitcoin dominance is dropping off. So to me, that looks like a nice sign of strength, that there's actual money flow coming in, and rather than money just kind of circulating around and, leverage trading and stuff like that, but actual money coming into the market, because it's not just money moving from Bitcoin to altcoins. It's that there's, well, there is a lot of that, because Bitcoin, obviously, as you get profits, you want to go into riskier assets, you get a little bit cocky and that sort of thing. But the fact that I guess the eyes were turning off Bitcoin a little bit because, the dominance is dropping off, but the price is still climbing and altcoins are going with it. I mean, just everything at that point, that's where the market looks good, in my opinion. The fact that the Bitcoin dominance is dropping like this and the price is still going higher, that's a beautiful sign in the market. And that's why, I mean, like I've been saying for a while now, you know, I was trading some of my Bitcoin for altcoins and stuff like that. You know, I think that's just there's an even stronger argument to be made for that now that the market is blasting through resistance with Bitcoin and altcoins haven't even got close to a lot of their macro resistance and whatnot. I mean, I think that there's a lot of upside potential with altcoins, and whether that happens right now or if Bitcoin needs to do its thing and then when it calms down, that's when altcoins can make their big move. But either way, we've been seeing a ton of them absolutely flying today. So that's why I'm going to be, honestly, probably watching altcoins even more than Bitcoin on the bullish side of things, looking for Stuber fibs and stuff like that. We'll have to see if we end up still finding support here, I still have actually a laddered entry down here in case this ends up playing out. But like I said, already closed a quarter of the position there. But yeah, altcoins is where I'm going to be very excited to be trading the long side of things moving forwards. You know, Ethereum, Solana, Hype. I got to take a look at Hype for you in a sec, Adrian. You know, all that sort of thing. That's where I'm getting really excited about this market at this point is, you know, we've got a lot of green lights today on the market in general, and I love to see that. So with that being said, I do want to hop over and take a look at Hype. I know there was this level we were watching in my previous stream. We are technically at a bearish Stuber, but the fact that Hype is in price discovery, you know, it blasted through all-time highs a long time ago, basically just been finding its price as it goes here since the beginning of time. I wouldn't really personally want to bet against this. With the state of the market right now, with Bitcoin dominance dropping, with Bitcoin smashing all-time highs, with so many altcoins making nice moves, I just really don't want to even take a stab at this short on Hype. I've been bullish on Hype for a lot longer than I've been bullish on Bitcoin recently. Not all in all. Obviously, I've been a Bitcoin bull for years. But, you know, as far as within the last few months, I mean, I've been bullish on Hype, but not so much Bitcoin until Bitcoin smashed resistance. Now, you know, my red flags are gone and we can carry on with this market cycle. So exciting times right now. Like I said, this Bitcoin dominance chart, this is one of my favorite things to see right now. Like I said, sell signal, breaking that trend line, using the trend master, pushing the price down right now, basically. This purple line up here, I'm pretty sure that was a Stuber fib on the weekly, so we are getting close to some very serious resistance there as well. So yeah, I love to see that for the market right now. Everything is looking pretty great to me. One thing to watch out for, other than that weekly divergence on the RSI could still show up and blindside us a little bit. Other than that, one thing, you know, now that we've broke my level, and Zeus, if you are still in here, you might, yeah, you are. You might remember us talking about this and joking about it a while back, that just watch, as soon as we break that 115, then all of a sudden we're going to just end up nuking right after I give up hope. And you know what, that's something I'm considering. But for me to accept that, I would need to see some sort of a structure change. Like right now, if we do something like this, for example, where we start printing, you know, higher highs, higher lows, and then we change that structure, right? If we actually lose a higher low, something like that, that's something we have to watch for. Because now that we've you know, set a new higher high here, now we need to watch what actually happens with this uptrend. So if we get something like that, then unfortunately I'm gonna get unbearable again. See what I did there? But yeah, that's where I would at least entertain the idea of looking for a bearish Stuber again, and being open to the possibility and looking for hedges short and that sort of thing. But as it stands right now, I mean, I have no problems with how Bitcoin looks right now. The fact that we finally invalidated that level after 6 months, that's all I wanted. It was so easy to do. That's all they had to do. They were able to do it within minutes. They just had to wait. So, yeah, like I said, looking pretty good at this point. I would really like to see us get a retest down at these levels down here. Just for some more possible entries. I don't really want to FOMO new longs into this at this point. Actually, what's the Trendmaster? If we print a new buy signal, I would consider swinging at that and then just keeping a tight stop below whatever the bottom of this range is here. I would consider taking some sort of a new scalp long on something like that. But again, we just have to wait and see if that even happens. Basically, right now, I'm looking for structure, a pullback to support, just like what I was looking at, how some of my targets with Bitcoin, those 4-hour targets. Doesn't mean we had to hit them, but the structure was there supporting that, hey, if we ended up getting down there, there would have been some great long opportunities. Unfortunately, it never happened. Just like right now, we might not actually come down to this Stuber fib, right? But if we do, that's where I'm going to start looking for new long positions as we test back into this range here. If we end up losing that range, well, then we have to basically wait for, I would probably just look for microstructure at that point, just looking for very minor lower highs to break, and then looking for Stuber longs and that sort of thing. Or swing fails, losing and reclaiming levels very quickly, stuff like that. But I'm more so going to be favoring the long side finally. I know a lot of you guys thought it would never happen, but you know what? As I said, there was a couple of things that I was waiting for. Now that those happened, I can focus on being a little more bullish on Bitcoin again. Like I said, I was already quite bullish on altcoins, but now I'm basically bullish on everything just because of, like I said, Bitcoin breaking the 115, Bitcoin dominance dropping. There's just so many green flags in my opinion right now. Another thing, if we look at long-short ratios, I mean, Binance Retail is still very heavily short. That could be a lot more fuel for the upside, right? Greed is starting to get a little bit high, but it's not crazy high, 71 right now. I do want to zoom in on hype a little bit. I want to actually get rid of this bearish Stuber at this point. What else can we find here? Let's take a look at a few things. We do have this higher buy signal trend here. So here's another thing, right, you guys? Basically, when we printed the higher buy signal, then, I mean, that's just, again, using this indicator for that continuation of the trend. So until we get some sort of a lower sell signal on hype on like a 4-hour or something like that, really nothing to be alarmed on with something like this yet. We did lose that structure, but again, I just really wouldn't want to bet against this at this point. If anything, I would consider taking a little bit of profits if you are in a long, for example. But other than that, I don't know. I think the market is just looking good right now. What else do we have here? ALGO Master. It kind of looks like we have order. We have some buy volume coming in with the order flow on the ALGO Master indicator, Keltner band there. Love to see that in an uptrend like this. So it looks like we're curling to the upside again. So again, I don't really know if I'd want to bet against this. Just all things look like full send right now. What do we have for... what do we have for AI charting tools? So even if we end up seeing a pullback, I mean, we have the daily open below us, we have the weekly open below us here, and we just have obviously done a great job of building support on the way up. So we do have this beautiful demand zone that starts around $38. I don't even know if we're going to end up coming back down to this level, but if it does happen, I mean, watch for signs of support on lower time frames, and that might be a good long to get yourself into. Let's check some shorter time frames. Looks like it's losing a little bit of an uptrend right now. RSI has dropped. This RSI is dropping off very quickly. So, I mean, it's probably, being it's in such a strong uptrend right now, that's where I do consider these levels to be oversold, right? Because that would be against the trend, basically. So if we could see the RSI get some sort of a bullish divergence while we're testing this demand zone right here, I think that could be a beautiful long scalp opportunity as well. Might even turn into a runner, right? I mean, we have overlapping demand zones at this level. Could even look for the auto Stuber fibs. That's actually invalidated at this point. It hasn't reset yet. But I would consider looking for something like this. And notice the 886 is sitting right on top of that demand zone as well. So just a few things overlapping there, right? Yeah, what else? How are you all feeling about the market? I assume that everybody has straight up FOMO at this point. Is that how everyone's feeling generally right now? Solana. Let's check Solana. Looking very similar to Hype. Hasn't actually lost its micro trend yet, but notice we did get that bearish divergence. Even though it is just the 5-minute chart, we did get that perfect divergence off the 70 level there with double top territory. Right, I make my double top basically the wicks of the candles like that. And yeah, perfect double top in there with that bearish divergence. So yeah, a little bit of a pullback, but again, the RSI is selling off so fast that I don't really see this move sticking for all that long. Trendmaster, I mean, technically this divergence may have already played out because technically it already moved this whole little range, right? Being that's how structure formed, unfortunately, it is a small range. And being that we have MDX Trendmaster support right here, I just really don't see any bearish structure holding too much weight for very long at this point. I think the FOMO is going to be strong at this point, and I think those orders, those buy orders, I think they're going to get smashed up pretty aggressively for the near future here. Holy, I thought my chat was automatically keeping up. I was like, oh, everyone's pretty quiet. Now I start scrolling down. Ooh, Zeus, there you go. Those are some nice shirts there. There you go. I'm damn. That top left, the bottom center. Those are both beautiful business attire. I mean, may as well go green because things are bullish right now, right? Bottom left and bottom right. Yeah, they're all nice. You know what? The market's doing pretty good right now. You may as well buy them all. I bet you will not regret any of them. Will, so I'm saying all in? Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah, that's the move. Oh, you'll look good every day of the week. I need some new Hawaiian shirts. Yeah, Solana looking pretty good. Let's zoom out a little. You know what? I'm actually going to start with a fresh chart on Solana because I just don't really remember what I was looking at last or anything. So let's start with the 4-hour here. Unfortunately, hoping for a pullback might not be much of a thing at this point. What's the old Trendmaster saying? So currently we still do have resistance on the 4-hour with Solana from the previous lower sell signal here. We haven't quite broke this yet. That is not to say that I am bearish by any means. That is just saying, you know, we do have potential resistance coming up based on this downtrend here. The fact that we're in overbought territory and whatnot, just be a little bit cautious at this level. But basically the way I see it, if we end up invalidating this, any sort of short-term pullback I think will be short-lived. I would be looking at buying basically along this buy trend as the pink line climbs if we break through this level. I think there's going to be plenty of opportunity for longs in this market moving forward. Like I said, these are lower trending buy and lower trending sell signals, but with how the market's looking in general on the longer time frames today, I would not be surprised to see a lot of these red flags invalidated as well. Can I look at ENA and grass? I sure can. What time frames do you typically look at there, brother? Oh, ENA is on BloFin even. Perfect. Well, that just looks like an explosive move already. So 4 hour and 1 day. Perfect. I am on the 4 hour. So basically there was a beautiful downtrend that was broken, well, right here. So just zooming into the microstructure on this downtrend, all the way from this would have been our low, slightly lower low, got a little bounce here and a lower low. So this is basically the structure that broke, that confirmed that, hey, the downtrend is broken, because even look how it flipped from support or from resistance into support there. If you want to look at the whole block even, I mean, obviously it held beautifully, but that's the whole block and it retested absolutely perfectly. So to see that SR flip there, I mean, well, you can see what happened since that, right? Even just looking at this, I mean, we could have treated this as a stuber. Obviously, this is going to be capped in hindsight because this has already played out. But like I said, I just want to kind of get a feel for the chart in general and then work my way up. But after we broke this downtrend, we had this high, higher high. That's where we can then pull a fib from here, and notice we did get a beautiful stuber there. And that would have been basically the perfect entry. But what to look for right now? Well, looking for pullbacks basically, because the downtrend has been broken, right? So if I bring up what's the ALGO master? Yeah, it looks like we have nice buy volume coming in. It has been for a little while though, and it's obviously climbed higher since that, but still great to see. Great to see that strength, right? The ALGO master also printed this bearish Stuber fib, which I don't actually agree with it. That's one where I don't see the structure for it as perfect. However, either way, it's been invalidated at this point, so that's of no concern. Trendmaster, I guess just looking at the downward sloping, right, lower buys, lower sells, and then we ended up breaking these lower sells. We printed a higher sell, and then our next buy signal just smashed through that, right? Hopefully that kind of makes sense if you're following me. So since we broke that, that would have been the level that should have ended up rejecting us. Actually, technically back here, right? We shouldn't have really broke above that if we were going to carry on the 4 hour downward trend. Yeah, you can consider that a bit of a swing fail, and it did technically play out, right? Went right back to the bottom of the range there. But again, then right now, the fact that trend is broken, I mean, that looks beautiful. That being said, obviously it'll feel volatile. Like if we even come back to test that trend at this point, let's just see here from where we are right now. I mean, we could come back to test that trend, and that's a 13% correction to the downside if that happens. So understand that things are forming big ranges right now. Things are going to be quite volatile. So when you're trading, especially with leverage, just be a little bit careful, you guys. The daily, I mean, we're looking at the same structure basically. Yeah, so if we actually slightly different because we never had a lower low after this until here. So technically our structure is a little bit different on the daily. So there is technically that bearish Stuber up there. But if that were to happen, understand that that is another move. Oh, what are we looking at? Another 30, 40, 50, and 60% move to the upside, even if that Stuber fib was going to play out. Will, yeah, 1 second. Just let me take a look at grass real quick. And then I am interested to hear what you have to say as well. How this looks right now, grass to me, oh, that looks good. Honestly, I don't know how else to say that. This is obviously where our downtrend was broken, right? This would have been our last low, which means our previous low before that was here. We obviously broke that, so if we pull a fib something like this, I mean, technically it's already played out once. I guess that would be my only concern, that we got this Stuber fib and we've hit 2 targets there. We've hit both range targets. But I just, if the market's going to continue turbo sending right now, I mean, it's just, we're at support, right? Although it may not be the perfect Stuber fib since it's already played out once, support is support until it isn't. And on the daily, it's sitting right in a Stuber fib pocket there. The 4 hour, we might have slightly different structure. No, actually we don't. So same thing basically, but again, we are just in that fib pocket beautifully right now. That thing looks good. Like that's where we're actually at support and haven't really taken off yet. So if the market's going to continue moving and altcoins are going to keep doing their thing, I mean that looks like a nice buy in my opinion. That being said, I would love to hear what Smallio has to say right now. Will, if you want to take the lead for a little bit here. I saw you requesting there. Oh, you're about to sleep. Oh, a run of the shirts. Yeah, you should. Okay. Yeah, never mind. Sorry. Misunderstanding there. Oh, there we go. It really looks like Bitcoin wants to print a new buy signal here soon. Ethereum did hit another one of my entries. That must have just happened. Let me flip back to ETH because I have another ETH open. Another ETH long open. Let me get this back up. Ooh, so far a perfect double bottom there. What was my price here? The entry was 2934.52. Did that even hit that? How did I get an entry there? Whatever. I'll take it. Stuber got invalidated by $1. Which Stuber? Which Stuber? Which Stuber got invalidated by $1? Curious. Yeah, things, like I said, guys, I think it's officially, and I know a lot of you guys were bullish for the whole time, and you know what? Fair, and well played. I wanted to be cautious at resistance. And you know what? Most of the shorts that I ended up taking, almost all of them have hit basically the first 1 or 2 Stuber targets. I mean, you guys see how I post those all the time and how I pull those fibs. Generally speaking, they like to hit the first target or 2. And from there, I was basically hoping to catch some sort of a crazy reversal on the short as a home run trade, but not banking the entire position on the home run trade. That's the important part about, you know, when you hit your targets, take profits, right? Set your take profits along the way, because even if you're wrong, if your analysis is wrong, it really doesn't fucking matter. What matters is how you execute your actual trade strategy. That's really all that matters when it comes to actually trading. Like I say, you know, we can be traders or weathermen, and you can be wrong and you can still keep your job and you can still make money. Ooh, that's a nice shirt there, Will. Ooh, a nice hype long for you there. Nice. Well done. Well done. Hell yeah, brother. Beauty. Here we go. Send it. Come on, ETH. Do the thing. I hear someone breathing or rummaging. Things are getting hot somewhere. Someone's rummaging. Yeah, how are you guys all feeling right now? How do you think we're going to retrace this move right away, or do you think this is actually going to stick this time? Honestly, I think this move, even if there's some retracements, I think this move in general is going to stick because we actually broke that 115 finally. You guys know for so long I've been very vocal about that level, and since we never ended up getting a swing fail today, you know, we just ended up blasting through resistance, blasted through that 115, even with dominance dropping. I mean, like I keep saying this stream, I haven't felt this bullish in a long time. Hopefully that's not me FOMOing at this point, but it's more so that I am willing to pump the brakes on even looking for those hedges short at this point. I'm more so just looking at, if anything, longing altcoins and shit like that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun moving forward. Yeah. The beginning of the end. And that's the thing too, right? The beginning of the end, it's a bittersweet because I would say that this means we are kind of on our last rally. I don't think the market cycle is going to go too much longer, but generally speaking, the end is the most exciting part, right? I mean, any market cycle, basically, it's after you break the all-time highs, and then when we start going parabolic, that's where altcoins really get the green light. That's where Bitcoin moves more aggressively rather than ranging and chopping around so much. It's more of a one-directional kind of a market. And yeah, just a lot easier to catch those running positions. And that's the thing, like those shorts that I was trying to catch a nice big runner on, it's going to be a lot easier, in my opinion anyways, catching a nice runner to the upside now, on especially with altcoins, right? Before they were chopping around quite a bit. I really think that there's going to be some beautiful long positions to be had. Oh, yeah, that was totally that is hyper. That is a different coin. Where's the next targets? Any Uber Fibbers or Chaos Gann charts, more higher time frame, not scalp time frames. For Bitcoin, I personally don't have much of a target at this point. At this point, I'm more so I use fibs, more so fib retracements. I personally don't do much with extensions, and that's not to say anything against them. I just, those are more the setups that I look for, and from there, I hope that if things are going to run, you know, we'll wait and see what structure does from that point. So I don't really have a guesstimate at this time. Let's see if I can find any sort of trend line. I know everyone loves their trend lines. You know, we could be coming up towards some resistance like that relatively soon. Is it actually going to hold? I don't know. That's just really grasping at straws, trying to find something. I really have nothing that is that's really looking for a target at this point. I'm more so looking for that structure to change again, just like last time, right? Just like when we got this structure back here and, you know, started playing some bearish Stuber fibs and stuff like that. That's basically how I'm going to treat it again. When we start breaking higher lows on the 4 hour, like when we start losing them, then I'm just going to start being very careful again and being open to the possibility of shorts again.
Dude, can you switch over to the daily chart? Just watch this beautiful close in 2 minutes.
Oh, God, yeah.
Es que estoy en todo. Gracias.
Oh, it's Eugenia I can hear. Yeah, this is going to be a nice close. 1.5 minutes, fellas. Degens and degenettes.
So
Pullback coming after the daily close. I agree. That's probably going to be a thing, but I think it'll be a short-lived pullback, and if anything, it would be a nice long opportunity.
Why is so funny, Adrian?
Yeah, I hear people giggling.
oh, sorry.
You getting all giggly because things are bullish? Oh. Hopefully you guys are talking shit.
No, about you.
Just kidding. Oh, here we go, guys. 20 seconds. I can do a lot in 20 seconds. Can Bitcoin do the same? Oh, yeah. That's nice. That's real nice. New little buy signal. Technically a lower buy signal, but I have a feeling momentum's going to be a bit of a thing. But yeah, don't be too surprised, guys, if moving into this daily candle, if we do retest some of this, right? That would be very normal price action, whether we come back down to the 115 around 114K, even come all the way back down to this diagonal trend line, closer to 112.8. Either way, I just think the market's in a very good place, right? I would love to see this big pullback to that Stuber fib that I outlined earlier. Are we going to get it? Man, that is tough to say right now. If we don't, if we just end up pumping higher, just to kind of give you an idea of something that I will be watching for, would be basically very similar to what I showed on ETH, right? If the price ends up doing something like this, then I have a new Stuber fib, because at that point we have a new higher high confirming a new higher low. And at that point, I can pull a new fib. That's obviously very theoretical at this point. That's just kind of how I'll be moving forwards. As we set new higher highs, that's where we can pull new fibs if looking for a continuation entry, basically. Oh man, that does look fun. I'm going to go be that guy in the backyard in about 5 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good alert to have there, Zeus. And I agree. That's funny. Long alts like a big boy. That's a good daily close right there. Yeah, anyways, legends, I think that's about all I really wanted to go over in stream today, so hopefully you guys did find this stream useful. You know my thoughts. I'm finally, Stu Bear has put his bearskin rug away and he's hibernating a little bit right now. And it's buy the dip season, right? I'm going to be looking for bullish Stuber fibs, bullish swing fail setups, stuff like that. Going to be looking at altcoins a lot more moving forward. That's the type of setups that I'm going to be looking for moving forward. Also the trend master, right? When we get those trending buy signals, for example, that'll be another thing to watch for in the market. Yeah, it's going to get juicy, you guys. Things are going to get real interesting here.
Yeah, that was the high of this range at 38 or 28.77 or whatever. That I just set an alert there on ETH. Whenever it gets over there.
Oh, nice.
Long alt's like a big boy.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, I think that's about the plan moving forward. I don't see a reason to be, standing in front of a train at this point because we broke some very serious structure today. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Proper
yeah.
sneaky little closes, eh, mate?
What's that?
Proper sneaky little closes, eh, mate?
Yeah.
Brother,
All right, guys. I am going to wrap
Why
up the
are you
stream
gay?
here, so thank you so much for being here with me once again.
Big up
need
MDX,
money.
ALGO,
We
bruv.
will, until next time, my friends, keep fit and have fun.
Big up MDX, ALGO, bruv.